Hello children, welcome back to yet another video class. This time we will learn the remaining portion of the last class. We were studying the lesson Hafiz contractor and there an interview was going on. And so far we have studied that in his childhood Hafiz contractor was not at all interested in studies. And let's go to the detailed explanation of the second part. Here Bella asked the contractor how he ended up being an architect. Hafiz contractor told Bella that those who get less than 80 or 85% were not allowed to pursue architecture in college and he only had 50%. He revealed how he wanted to serve in the army and he even got his admission letter, but his aunt tore it apart. He then decided to join the police, but his mother advised him to pursue his graduation. So he took admission in the Jain College in Bombay. In college, he got a choice between studying French or German. He said that although he had learned French for 7 years, he did not know even 7 words of the language. So he felt it was better to take German. After a while, his German teacher passed away. So he was proposed by the college to either take French or to change his college. He changed his language to French because he would not get admission in any other college. In this college also, he got admission through contacts. So he began learning French again. This time from his cousin who was married to an architect. Thus, he used to go to an architect's office to study French. Hafiz told Bella that it was all a matter of chance that he ended up doing architecture. He goes on to tell a story about how once, when he was in the architect's office, he saw someone drawing a windows detail which he specifies was a very advanced drawing. Hafiz saw it and told the person that his drawing was not right. He added that with the design, the window would not open. So they bet upon it and later it turned out that Hafiz was right and the window he drew would not open. The architect, Hafiz's cousin's husband, was amazed by this and he asked Hafiz to pen out a few other sketches, which Hafiz easily did. If he asked him to draw a house, he drew a house. The architect was so impressed that he advised him to drop everything immediately and enter the line of architecture. He even went to the principal of the college with Hafiz. The principal allowed him to appear for the entrance exams, but he warned Hafiz that he will not get admission if he does not perform well in the entrance. Hafiz appeared for the entrance exam, bagged an A+, and from that day onwards, it was a smooth ride for him. He never made a plan, but he was aware of how things looked like from above. Similarly, he had never known what a selection was, but he knew how a plan would look like if you cut it out. He always stood first in his class. According to him, his great understanding of the architecture came from how he played and did all other activities in school. He tells Bella about one of his friends named Behram Divecha, whom he used to compete about designing fort, guns and ammunition. Both of them would really put in a lot of effort in order to be different and make their pieces stand out. Even in his school, when he was in second or in third standard, a teacher named Mrs. Gupta told him when she saw his sketches that his work was good. She liked his sketches. She mentioned that she knows he was useless in almost everything else, but she advised him to be an architect when he grew up. Quite obviously, Hafiz did not know it back then that he was actually going to be an architect. So years later, when he became one, he went to see her and tell her about it. Bella asked Hafiz contractor what according to him was the reason behind his disliking of the studies. She asked him if it was being unable to cope up or deal with the curriculum that made him dislike studying in school. To understand the contractor's point of view better, Bella further asked him if he considered whatever that was being taught to him as boring, or it was the case where he would lose interest in the lesson once he got hold of main concept behind what was being taught. Hafiz tells Bella that life in a boarding school is hard, so they had just lived one day at a time. He says that nowadays there are so many tests back then. This was not the case. They rarely had any tests back then, and whenever they had one, they would just copy. This would make the teacher think that students had done their work. Bella mentions that it is generally believed that special abilities and learning disabilities come together. She asks Hafiz if he thinks that this is the case with him. Hafiz mentions some of his fellow classmates who always bag the first or second position in academics but are now doing very typical and common jobs. Bella agrees with Hafiz as this is something she has come across in so many different places where people have told her that their class toppers are not doing anything extraordinary now. According to the contractor, living life is the fullest. According to the contractor, living life to the fullest, especially in schools, makes people street smart. He himself had learned more by doing things on his own than what academics would have ever taught him. Bella explains that in doing other activities or while participating in sports, skills are involved and one's personality gets enhanced. One gets exposed, which helps them to find expression in a manner which is comfortable for oneself. Hafiz defied each rule in order to do what he needed to do without letting anybody or anything stop him. Hafiz explains that he was more attracted by other things. For instance, if it was raining outside while he was in class, then he would be thinking about the flowing water from there. He would think about building a dam to stop it. He would go in the depth and think about the flow of water inside the dam, and moreover about the dam's capacity to hold water. It would become the topic of interest for the day. He was so smart that whenever someone lost a button of their shirt while playing or fighting, they would come to him. He would cut a piece of chalk with a blade to make a button for them. Even a thing as button were very important because in school discipline was very important. They had to get past dinner time in proper uniform because post dinner it did not matter. Bella now asks Hafiz about his dealing with clients now. She wants to know how he decides the type of constructor for a particular client in the present day scenario. Hafiz shares that first he analyzes his client by looking at their face, noticing their dressing style, the way they talk and pronounce, their taste and style of eating. He says that he can relate to people in a way that is comfortable for both the parties. He is very instantaneous when it comes to sketching the structure. He does it on a paper on the spot, which he would then give to the people in his office. Bella confirms if Hafiz wants to say that he works based on his natural instincts. Hafiz contractor explains that they can call it whatever they want, whether instinct or arithmetic. He feels that it comes to him like mathematics now. All he does is put design, construction, psychology, and sociology together and makes a sketch from everything that is mathematics. The phrase almost come to full circle means that Hafiz contractor disliked mathematics to the extent that he used to get nightmares about it. But in the end, he says that he does his work from all that is mathematics. He has derived his own meaning of the subject mathematics, and earlier it was a subject that he disliked so passionately, but now he loves dealing with mathematics. And thus, Hafiz contractor has explained the whole life how as a child he hated his studies and now in the subjects which he lose interest now become his favorite sport of interest. And I hope you understood and enjoyed the lesson, and in the next video we will come again with one another new lesson. Thank you.